Alright, what's going on everyone? It's Yhug coming at you guys with a brand new video. Today's video, we're back on MW4. As you can tell by the title, I wanted to make a video basically talking about what this game should fix. The video that came out before this, I feel like was more me just kind of like laughing a little bit and like just adding on to the hate train instead of actually giving like valid criticisms. Now, I know like my channel's on the smaller side, right? So people might be like, bro, like why are you even gonna make this? They're probably not even gonna read it, which could be true. You know, for all I know, Infinity Ward and Activision probably don't even care enough to look at this. But there is a lot of stuff being said that like they actually are looking at ways to improve MW4 and all that, and you know, they're looking into feedback. So if that's the case, you know, if any Infinity Ward dev happens to stumble across this video and I can help improve this game, that would mean a lot to me because I do want to see this game succeed. I think this game has a lot of potential. It has a great foundation. And then, you know, even after playing that campaign mission that they have in the beta, like, I really do think that this game can be really good. It's just there's a lot right now that's like really holding it back, I feel like. And if they just fix like these few things, bro, like I do think this game could end up being a lot better than how it is right now. And you know, also it is a beta, right? So that is sort of what the purpose is, to get feedback and fix the game, because like I said, how it's looking right now, there's a lot they could do to make this game just feel a lot better. With how it is right now, there's a lot that they can do to make this game just feel a lot better in general. So for starters, I wanted to talk about maps. I think map design on this game is in a really weird state where it feels like almost every single map has a vantage point for no reason. There's like so many angles to watch. The map design just feels very like redundant of MW22 and MW19, where there's a lot of angles, a lot of dark corners, you know what I mean, like a lot of weird spots on the map that just kind of messed with the flow of the gameplay. Now, I don't think every map has that problem, but I think like a lot of them are just also really small too. Like they're really leaning back into that small map gameplay style, right? That like not a lot of people are big fans of. I know I'm not the biggest fan of it. And you know, something for me that helped with BO7, right, that like made me actually like BO7 a lot, was every map had a different size, right? There was like medium-sized maps, there was big-sized maps, you know, and even then the bigger-sized maps weren't like the huge, you know, valleys that we had in like, let's say, a game like Ghost or even MW3 to a certain extent. But they weren't like too small either, where they felt like I was just playing the same small map over and over again, right? Which was actually a problem BO6 had, I feel like. That felt like it got fixed, but it feels like in this game, every map that I've played so far feels about the same size. Like, I could sort of predict how big each map is going to be, you know? And because of that, I could sort of, like, easily predict where certain spawns are and all that, and where an enemy might be. Now, I understand to some people that might be good, right? Because you would like to be able to be accustomed to a map without having to put too many hours into it. But I feel like overall that just kind of takes away from the skill gap. That's just me. That's more of a nitpick than anything, but yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about though that I don't feel like is a nitpick is definitely matchmaking. Right now I'm in the open matchmaking playlist, and honestly I think that is the more enjoyable of all the playlists. But I want to say this, if open matchmaking will be in Modern Warfare 4 as an option, please give us map voting. I don't enjoy the fact that if I want to vote for what maps I want to play next, I'm forced to go into the game modes that have that new matchmaking system. And I don't care what they say, they're never going to convince me that it's a true matchmaking system. It feels nothing like BO2, feels nothing like BO1. Fake matchmaking system, honestly. Like I said, I've been playing on open matchmaking and on actually the regular matchmaking, and I can notice a difference between both. Open matchmaking, I feel like I find games a lot faster. While it's not by much, I do feel like it is a tiny bit faster where it's a little bit more noticeable. I feel like the variance in skill is definitely noticeable as well, right? Like, I don't feel like every player is super sweaty in this game. Do I have times where I get into like super sweaty lobbies back to back? Sure, yeah. But I end up backing out and I'll find better lobbies anyways after already having backed out. You know what I mean? I think backing out of games isn't like something that should be the cop-out as to why you need skill-based matchmaking. I'm gonna back out of a game regardless. If I unlock a new camo, if I freaking get a new calling card, if I achieve a challenge, if an update, like, I'm gonna back out, man. Like, I don't understand why they thought that was a good reason or a justifiable reason to go ahead and change the matchmaking. The other thing I think that they should definitely like take into consideration when it comes to what they need to work on is definitely TTK. And And I don't mean like just adjusting the weapons and their damage, right, to try to account for a slower or like to raise the TTK. I mean actually adjust and fix the time to kill on this game. Actually change it, because you can tune the weapon all you want, but if we're not actually doing something about the health of our operators and all that, and of the player, there's no point. There's really no point. I mean, actually adjust the time to kill on this game. Don't just give me some bullshit like weapon tuning. Don't make the weapons weaker, make the player stronger. I think 150 health was probably like the best we could get to help with the TTK and the feeling. Another thing too is definitely the weapon leveling and attachment cons, because if you don't know, like with certain attachments in this game, they'll give you like really crazy cons towards your weapon, and like, you know, your ADS time, your sprint to fire and all that. It's almost deterring me from wanting to use these good attachments and all that. Following that up though, yeah, weapon levels is definitely something else. I think Apex attachments are a cool idea. You know, we had prestige attachments in fucking BO7, and those were pretty good. But I just think the whole Apex like attachment thing, like, and having the weapon levels be so high, like in the 60s and all that, is super annoying. It just makes the grind a lot more tedious and like less appealing to like either a newer player or even like returning veterans, you know? That's how I personally feel when it comes to the weapon tuning, weapon leveling and all that. I would just say decrease the levels just by a little bit, please. Aside from that, I think, okay, so this is sort of where I enter like hot take territory. Because one thing I've seen a lot of people complain about, and like a lot of people are having like a lot of disagreements about, is Omni movement. So I'm in the camp that thinks Omni movement shouldn't return for this game. Just not because I think, oh, Omni movement was dumb. I actually like Omni movement. I am a big fan of Omni movement. I love it a lot. It's one of my favorite things that Treyarch had ever added into a Call of Duty. I think to me, it's like, it helps sort of bring in a classic COD feeling to the game, and it helps keep the game fresh, and, you know, makes it feel like a breath of fresh air, you know, without doing too much to where it's polarizing. And I feel like anybody can get good at Omni movement, in all honesty. You just have to play the game. I feel like in this game, though, in all honesty, the movement system that they have in here is perfectly fine. I think maybe if anything, add in like the base of Omni movement, which is sprinting and, you know, diving and sliding in all directions, because that is something that I feel like can somewhat hinder this game a little bit when you're trying to like move a certain way, and it just feels like you should be able to Omni move and all that, but you just can't because, you know, it's not in the game. But yeah, but even then, like, I think I like the idea of each game feeling different. So I'm a little, that's the only reason why I'm a little against it. Because then I feel like if you put Omni movement, it causes every game to feel the same. Something I just realized that I forgot to mention too in terms of movement was tack sprinting. Yeah, I think tack sprint really needs to go. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I never have been. I think it was cool in the game it was first added in, which was Modern Warfare 2019. It was helping that COD do what it was supposed to do, which was like sort of reinvent the franchise and inject some more energy into it. But I think it's overstayed its welcome. And when you play a game like Black Ops 7, clips just look a lot cleaner. The gameplay flows a lot smoother. And I feel like overall tac sprint is just not good in this game. I know, like, for some reason Infinity Ward just loves tac sprint, but give us the option, like in Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 7 and Black Ops 6, to just disable it either with a perk or a setting in the game. Because, again, it just messes with the flow a little bit, and for sniping, especially, like, I feel like it makes it look really ugly. But, yeah, anyways, back to the video. Something that I will say, though, is while this movement and this game does feel different from BO7 and all that, obviously, I think the issue is this game feels too much like MW19 and MW2. This game doesn't have much to sort of set itself apart. I understand that's what the intent of Apex attachments was, and, you know, for some of the movement in this game, but in all honesty, like, as someone playing this game and even just watching it, it doesn't have that it factor for me that wants me to play it. The only thing that's really convincing me maybe is the mastery camos, because those are really cool, but there's just not something in here that's really pulling me, and I don't know what it is. I feel like there's something about this game that is just lacking for retention. You know what I mean? It's lacking in the retention factor. Again, I don't think this game is like horrible by any means. It's not very enjoyable either to me. I don't think it's very good. I've definitely had some moments where I've had fun on the beta and I've liked the game, but to say that I'm dying to buy this game like I was with Black Ops 7, I can't really say that either. Something else that needs to get worked on in this game is the spawn logic, because that's something they just have not addressed at all. It can mess with the flow of the game a lot. I understand, like, they don't want spawn trapping for newer players and all that. The fact that this game doesn't have spawn protection, spawn trapping can get a little toxic and a little bit oppressive in this game. But at the same time, it was like part of the fun in the game was when you're playing domination, you capture A, you capture B, you let them have C, and you push into C, and they should all be there theoretically, right? But because of the spawn logic in this game and the group spawning, it sort of messes with the flow where now you're like, where the hell did they spawn? And they'll end up in a random part of the map. Like, everybody's on the random side of that map on the enemy team, and it's just sort of, it makes the game flow a little weird and kind of messes with the flow of like clips and all that. And it's not very like enjoyable to play, in all honesty, and to watch, really. You know, like I said, I'm making this video not to add hate to the hate train and all that, and not to just give blind criticism. I want to actually give proper criticisms. And you know, if a Call of Duty dev happens to see this video, like, I want them to be able to hear from at least a certain, like, a fan, how they feel about the game and why I personally am not rushing to pre-order this game or anything like that, right? Like, I want them to be able to understand why, if they actually do care and are gonna listen to, like, you know, our feedback. Because like I said, right now, to me, this game, like I've been saying for the past few videos, like, I'm not, like, this game, it's not terrible, right? It's not horrible. I said at the beginning, it has a good foundation. It does a lot of things well. Like, I think the gunplay, the movement, like, they're pretty good, right? Like, the feeling of the game overall. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Love you all. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you have any sort of complaints for this game, leave them in the comments below. Like I said, if a dev happens to see this game, who knows, right? They could see what you're saying and all that. You feel me? Again, I'm not saying this video is gonna like blow up and do well, but I'm just saying, right? Like, and we can sort of start a discussion and all that, and yeah, we can see what happens from here. I mean, from the looks of it on Twitter, they are hearing some, like, of the complaints, but the way they're going about some of these changes, like I said, are just kind of dumb. Like, when I brought up the TTK, that's because on Twitter they said they're gonna adjust the weapons. I was like, just adjust the TTK, man. Just increase the health. Like, that's literally all you gotta do. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, but the point is that they're listening, though, right? So they are seeing the feedback. But yeah, like I said, I personally am not very excited for this game. I'm not dying to buy it. Does that mean I hate this game? No. But do I love it? I'm not saying that either. I don't think it's the greatest game in the world, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be it for today. Love you all. See you in the next one. And as always, have yourselves a good one.